Welcome to Chasing Dragonflies. Join us as we explore the glorious chaos of chasing life, only to discover the God of the universe is chasing us. I'm your host, Jane Foster, triplet mom and fellow sojourner in the land of motherhood. Hi, friends. Thank you for choosing to tune in today to Chasing Dragonflies. And if you are sitting in traffic or if you are trying to solve the mystery of how is it possible that there are so many unmatched socks that have come out of your dryer again, I want you to take a moment and think about, is there somebody in your life that at a really pivotal moment had a word of wisdom or encouragement or advice, maybe even it was even a confrontation, something that you really needed in that moment? And that's who Karye Boyer has been for me. And so I am thrilled to get to introduce her to you today. Hi, Karye. Thanks for being with me.
Oh, I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Tell us who you are and where you came from.
Sure. Again, my name's Carrie, and I am originally from Dallas, Texas, born and bred. I'm from a very large family there. And oh man, I had a rich church family and experiences and friendships and families that loved me like their own. And so I just had a lot of eyes on me as a teen and as a younger child and as a teenager and a young adult. And you know, when I was a kid, I remember specifically being like, "Oh my God, there's so many people that know me or know a sibling, right? Know my parents." Um, but
Couldn't get
looking
away with
back,
much if people know you.
well, true, or they know somebody that knows somebody, right? But I
Right.
will say that looking at it now, as a person who's almost 50, um, man, I feel like I was given like the jackpot. Like I won the lottery and I didn't even know how much money I got. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyway, lived life, did some traveling across the pond, as we say in Europe, before I decided to go to college. I went to college to a university called Harding University in Searcy, Arkansas, and got my degree in education in back in 2000. 2000. That seems so long ago, right? I don't want to say that. I'm like the turn of the millennium. And then I know I'm like that was feels like a lifetime ago. And then I got married a little bit later in life when I was 34. Met a wonderful, wonderful man named Darren, my husband. And then we had our family. He and I have a family together also a little bit later in life. That wasn't our initial plan or our hope, but boy, has it been a dream. Man, it has been a dream I didn't even really know I needed and wanted. It's been better. Now, listen, there's been ups and downs, right? And it has spanked me on the hiney more times than I can tell you. Parenthood has. But we have twins. We have a boy and a girl twin that are 9 years old.
You, to me, have just been a delight from day one, just getting to work with you through book fairs or just
Yep.
other volunteering events, and just an instant connection with the multiple moms,
Right,
and then
right.
being moms later in life,
Yep,
and
yep.
some of the blessings and the challenges with that.
Absolutely.
What's your day job look like now?
So I am currently I'm a teacher employed at Mansfield ISD, and I'm an elementary teacher. I specifically teach second grade, and it has man, I went through. I mean, I guess I'm like any other adult that is traveling our journey of life, right? And when you've been doing something for a long time, which I was in the public education for 19 years, and I stepped out of teaching and then went into the private sector for a few years and did a different role there as a director slash headmistress. That always sounds like I'm in England and way cooler than what I am, but I did that for a few years, actually one full school year. and knowing that that's not where I was wanting to land. And that's okay. And then after that, I kind of went in through what and my husband has coined just my wilderness season. And I say that gently because it wasn't something that was, it didn't, pull me apart. It actually put me together, and it gave me a very strong, thick, side to side, up and down, um, target that I knew that I knew that I knew, one of those, that teaching was my wild. I actually was sitting in a interview. It's so funny. I was sitting in an interview with a really great corporation, and I was in the final interview because you go through multiple
Right.
rounds, right? And the two people that were across from me, very enjoyable. I mean, they were savvy and smart and intellectual and funny, and they just made me feel so warm and welcome. And I'm sitting there, and I just felt this little pull in my heart, and I'm listening to them and trying to be very present, attentive, right? But there's something inside of me that is so quiet saying, "But is this your wild, Carrie?" And I remember thinking to myself in the moment, going, "Huh?" Because I'm going, "What do you, what?" Shh. I'm just like, I'm trying to like not listen to that, but trying to be attentive because they're asking me questions and I'm trying to sound like an adult, right? And I know what I'm talking about. And and I was like, I had this resolution, like literally right in the moment, I was like, I need to go back to teaching. And I, of course, told these two very lovely people that had spent their time and effort on me, and I thanked them, and I just told them, listen, I'm having an epiphany in this moment, and I said, it's not you, it's me.
Right.
And this was before Taylor Swift's song, and I was kind of like, I'm having, I think, exactly what I need right in this moment. And of course, was trying to be very gracious and honoring to both of them, and just told them that I know where I needed to go. And that place was back into school. And of course, I drove back home. I was crying, and not because I was sad or desperate, but I was just kind of like, I know there is a knowing that I have here. And it's not a hope, and it's not something that I'm still trying to like get answers to. I know. And so the confidence of just hoping, it kind of shifted into like something that I was stacking blocks up to. And it kind of shifted into um, something that was like titanium, if that makes sense. And it was all on the inside, of course. I could not let you touch it, but I could describe it. And so it happens to be, this was like in November-ish, kind of at the end of November. And the school that you and I met at and our children attended, I thought of, you know what, I know nothing about nothing there, but I know that sometimes teachers in the middle of the school year, either they get promoted, or they go to a job that they've been trying for or whatever. And again, not a lot of teachers, but it does happen.
Occasionally, sure.
Yeah, or they move states, or they are pregnant and they're going to go on to maternity leave, whatever. They're doing life, right? And so I sent an email to the principal at the time, and just said, hey, I really know nothing about nothing, but I just want you to know that I have a fresh commitment to my yes to being a classroom teacher. And I just want you to know that, not just because I know you're with someone I would respect and love to work for. If there's ever opportunity, you know, remember me, please, And Jane, I'm not kidding. 5 seconds later, I had my phone still in my hand from sending that email. It rang, and it was the principal. And she was like,
Wow.
Carrie, she goes, "You are an answer to prayer. A teacher today told me that they're leaving in 2 weeks." It was for a grade at the time that I had never taught in my life. And honestly, I was scared to death of little pre-K people, like people who are, I mean, before, my my heart and my life for 19 years was around fourth, fifth, and sixth graders. And
Yes.
I always said to everyone who listened, I would rather have a whole room full of sixth graders than have kindergarten. I didn't even put pre-K in there. Don't tell them. Um,
Right.
and I'm telling you what, she said it was pre-K. And I just was like, yes, 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 I will. And my yes was confident, not that I could do it so well, but I knew that I was going to figure it out. And I knew that it was a blasted off the hinges door moment, and that's where I was supposed to be. And it was like, I used the expression before. Felt like I was just covered in slippery butter. I was just sliding through.
Right.
And that those 2 years that I did that, man, they renewed my heart in ways that I get emotional thinking about.
Sure.
Because I just did not know that I needed it. Um, that it was so for me. Even though I was doing the work, it was for me. And and it solidified a lot of the question marks that I had in my heart. And so I'm so thankful, even though I was shaking like a leaf.
Yes.
These little babies that are, not even 3 feet tall. I was just like, what do I do with you? You're so little. But listen, they are full of wonder and they are full of just amazement about the little things and the big things and the silly things and the serious, sad things. They just are not scared of nothing. They are just they're ready to go. And that was just my language. That's my language. And I was like, you are my people. So
I love it. Thank you for sharing that beautiful story. And I did know all of the nuances of hearing that in an interview and knowing what your what's next was in the
yeah,
middle of trying to do something totally different. But I will confirm in you my experiences with you from years ago. The thing that I know that lit you up was your passion for kids.
yeah,
And that was so obvious no matter where you were or
right.
what you had done previously or where you were in that moment in time, being able to love them, pour into them, advocate for them, just experience the adventure of the next thing and the joy with them radiated out of you that I am so glad that this has come full circle for you and you're getting to walk into that now.
That slippery butter that I was telling you about earlier, that in my opinion is favor. And there is difference when it's blessed. Now that is holy and beautiful and it's got its own, road to, ride on. But when you have favor on something, when you don't deserve it, or when you've been hiding under a bushel, or you've been running from it, or you've just been straight up denying it, and the Lord still gives you favor on that, now that will make you sit down for a second and be quiet and just revere in um I mean, he made a way that I could not make way. I couldn't do it on my own. Um but he did. And so I'm still living in that favor. And I mean, there are times in my life where I'm like, is is this real? Is this what happening? What? It blows my mind. And I'm grateful for those times and moments in my life because I just remember I am where I'm supposed to be. I am. And that place, that just for me, um, man, it strengthens my faith and my resolve to lean in. And so lean into all of it and to um, just again remember him and to know him. It's a real open space just to know him, if that makes sense.
It does.
Where I'm not having to try to figure it out. I'm not trying to wrestle with what I should do next. I'm not having to plan. 5 steps ahead. I can just linger and um, just knowing him. And so that's a sweet space.
This podcast is named Chasing Dragonflies because of, I think, the tendency that we have in all of us to chase the next thing, to try and muscle our way through it, and achieve whatever that next goal is, whatever we think we're supposed to be doing, whatever will please the person next to us, or maybe the standards and values that we've been given in whatever environment we're in, maybe our family or the school system or our peer group. Even social media can give us an idea of what our ideal is and what our life is supposed to look like.
Absolutely.
And just all the time that we spend trying to make things happen around us. And then how that applies to motherhood and to raising the gifts that God gives us. And I love that you described favor as that undeserved gift of blessing. And it's that aha moment that you had and going, boy, I didn't do anything for this. God just poured himself out on me
True.
in this experience. Slippery butter is beautiful. What a beautiful metaphor to that the striving stopped there and the pieces just fell into place.
And I'm going to do whatever is in my part. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to maintain that because I know that it's a gift and I'm going to enjoy it so much. I can't stand. I may offend other people. I'm going to enjoy it that much. Do you know what
You're
I'm
going to
saying?
just be too joyful for people to stand to be
Listen,
around.
I'm going to live that up. And I have lived that up and I am living that up because in my family, we take that old saying or the saying that says celebrate everything until further notice. And we're just going to celebrate that and just really, enjoy that because it, I can't imagine if I, could zoom way out and see the whole picture, which I would never want to because that would probably make me overwhelmed. But if I could, had that ability to look at it and all the things that the Lord did behind the scenes to make this present day my day. Does that make sense?
It does.
I, why wouldn't I celebrate that?
So for you, with all of your years of education experience, and then I would imagine lots of classroom management strategies, hard fought wisdom and
Yeah.
experience and all that. What's that like to have all those years under your belt and then start a family later
Yep.
in life and then look at the two people in your life that God has tasked you to raise and to train
Yeah.
and transition that? What have you learned from all those experiences? Were you shocked at having your own kids? Or were some things easy for you because you've already done some of these things before with
Sure.
groups?
Well, that's such a great question. Probably if you'd asked me at different stages, I'd give you a different response, but I will tell you
Sure.
what it is today. I think the thing, for me personally, that management style is I approach my kids knowing that we're going to figure this out. Everything can be figured out. And the urgency that sometimes I know my dear friends have told me they've struggled with in parenthood, that they either don't know what to do with their kid or they're, maybe on the other side of the spectrum where they may be, nitpicking every single movement that the child does because they're just like, well, wait, we want to fix that, that kind of volleyball and the back and forth. I kind of fall in the idea of we're going to figure this out. And,
Right.
and what I see in the classroom and what is cherished to my own heart, I want every, including my own precious babies, I need them to feel safe emotionally. I need them to know that they are never alone, never. And that when we deal with tricky feelings, which what child doesn't have them, right? I, I always ask them, and I tell my students this too, if no one hasn't told you today, I'm going to tell you today. that when you have a tricky feeling like anger or sadness or rejection, or you just feel like you don't belong, or you feel left out, or you feel all of these real tricky feelings that they feel like they're the truth. They're actually the feeling is real, but they're not true, right? And that's such a hard concept for even adults to understand.
Sure.
I always tell those kids, I'm like, I just need to remind you that we don't do tricky feelings alone. Nobody does tricky feelings alone. Okay. And so I just want you to know I'm here. So if when you're ready and if you want to talk or if you need a hug or if you want to walk somewhere together or you want, with my own personal children, you want to lay on the bed together and I'll scratch your back, or you want to do high knees together because my son likes to move his body. He feels better. We got to get that out.
Right.
Out. Uh, we'll do that, or you want to punch the air together or scream into a pillow. Let's do it. And listen, my own personal children think sometimes I am crazy. They're all like, "Mom," and I'm like, "Hey, I'm with you. Let's do it." Just I feel like my husband always says, "You're always reassuring, giving out permission slips." It's true. That's what I do in my classroom. I'm just reassuring, and I'm giving lots of permission slips out to say, "Yep, we can do that," or "Hey, is that serving us? Did that make you feel like you feel peaceful, or did that actually just make you feel more spinny? Which one is it? Let's talk about it." Um,
Oh, what a great
because
way to describe that.
And so that's, just letting kids be kids and just normalizing that everybody has tricky feelings and we don't ever do them alone. And so those types of things have come into my home because I want my own personal children to be very securely attached. I want them to be secure and not just in who they are. That will work itself out, but with their mama and daddy.
Friends, this was such a rich conversation with Karye Boyer today that I decided to separate it into 2 episodes. So listen in again soon for part 2 of my conversation.